Hello, everyone. This is Yunwon,
This is Yunsan.
and this is
Our
our show.
It's been quite a while.
Yeah, for this time, we can really say it's been quite a while.
Yeah. Yunwon has been a very busy bee, and
I
so have
have.
I. We can forget to meet up because we're just so occupied with our respective lives, but I'm very glad that we have this. I mean, how are you? It's cold now.
It is. It's freezing.
I believe the last time we're in the studio was still quite hot.
Since then, I've been involved in a project, and I've been working through Mondays to Fridays. So it's just a full-time project, and doing hours of interpretation every day doesn't leave me with a lot of energy at the end of the day. So I do have time in a sense that my weeks are very routine. My days are very routine as well. But I just don't have the energy to meet up anyone. And then over the weekend, I do catch up with friends or attend to things that I haven't been able to do over the weekdays, like taking care of the house, doing the chores, things like that. So pretty routine.
As for me, the usual work and school. I'll just leave it at that because I don't want to delve into those topics right now.
Yeah. So nothing much has changed, but there has been a lot going on, I guess, for the both of us.
Yeah,
I'm fine. I'm doing fine. Are you doing fine?
I think I'm fine. Things have gotten better, a lot better.
And I'm looking forward to maybe the next couple of weeks because from mid-December onwards, it's going to be much more relaxed. I'm not going to have that much work. So I'm looking for the end of the year holidays.
Yes, we all are. And with more free time on your hands, I think one activity that a lot of people would gravitate towards is going to the movies, catching up on
Yeah.
some movies they've been meaning to watch, maybe on an OTT platform, but they haven't. And I went to the theaters recently and saw a movie that I really enjoyed. So, and I thought it'd be quite fun and interesting to talk about movies for this episode. Movies.
Who? Okay. I was going to say who doesn't like movies, but apparently a lot of people don't like movies.
Yeah, I am not such a big fan of movies.
Oh, yeah.
Or should I say, I just don't like most movies. There's only a very handful of movies that I actually enjoy. How about you?
I like movies in general. It's my hobby, watching movies.
Right. Yunnan also used to put up, what was it, like a daily post or
No,
weekly
it's a
post?
weekly post.
A weekly post about a movie that she watched on her Instagram account. And I remember thinking, wow, that's some dedication.
Mm-hmm. On my way to the studio, I actually took a look at it so that I can dig out some movies that I'd forgotten about. You can clearly see what period I had the most time on my hands. So I think it started from 2014 or 2015 when I started working because I just like movies. I've liked movies ever since I was a child, and I started watching movies more on a regular basis thanks to OTT platforms, as Yoon-sung mentioned. So that was around the time when I really started indulging myself in movies.
Are there certain genres you prefer over others?
It changed with time. When I was young, I really liked animations like Pixar, Disney. I still like them. And then I also liked a lot of coming-of-age movies. So I've watched a lot of coming-of-age movies. I can recommend a few if you want. And rom-com as well. But I don't watch that much rom-com anymore because it's very stereotypical. No, it's just typical in general. It has a happy ending and everything like that. So it's just for leisure, pure leisure and entertainment, I guess. Yeah.
One thing about rom-coms is I've always sworn to myself that I will never watch a rom-com in theaters. It goes against everything that a movie theater experience has to offer. You're basically watching two people get into some mundane, everyday shenanigans. that I probably can't even relate to.
Yes.
Why do I need to watch that in the theaters on the big screen? Doesn't just
No.
make sense to me. But I mean, I do agree that there are some good rom-coms out there, but I certainly don't think it's a genre that I would say I favor. I think I like a wide variety of movies too. I would say that my favorites tend to be thrillers
Wow.
or yeah, so I used to say that I like thrillers over everything, but nowadays it's just so hard to find the good quality thriller.
Have you watched Shutter Island? I believe
Shutter
that's the
Island, no, I
title.
haven't, but I know the entire plot because I
Okay.
also have this nasty habit of just reading the entire plot line on Wikipedia for any movies that I am curious about.
Is it because you want to know how it ends before you watch it, or is it just that
No.
you're curious about it?
I'm curious about it, and I'm also very impatient. So I don't think I like sitting throughout the entire movie.
So if you were to go to the cinema to watch a movie, are you going to read through the whole plot before going to watch it?
If I'm going to the cinema, probably not. But for movies like Shutter Island, it's been a while since it came out. So
True.
the chances of it being re-released in theaters is quite slim. And I just don't see myself looking for it on Netflix and just watching it for 3 hours. So I
Yeah.
do know of the plot.
I see. I don't watch any thriller movies at all.
So this is where we diverge.
Yes. So it's a lot of dedication to sit through like at least 2 hours or even 3 hours of a movie. It drains my energy, and I don't want my energy to be drained unnecessarily.
Yeah, more than it has to, right?
Yes.
When it's already physically taxing.
It is. And it tends to like keep haunting me.
Yeah, I get it.
So I
get
don't
it.
like that part, especially when there's a lot of like visual stimuli or like like those graphics. I just can't.
Yeah. But I do want to make clear that it's different from horror or gore, right?
That's also true.
But like the type of thrillers that I'm talking about, real good, suspenseful, those types of thrillers, they're so hard to find that the roster of thrillers that I've enjoyed is just getting thinner and thinner and thinner to the point that I can't even confidently say that I like thrillers anymore. My favorite movie of all time is probably The Silence of the Lambs with Jodie Foster and
I can't.
yeah.
I can't watch it. I just can't. I don't know whether I'd be able to watch it if someone pays me. Still, I can't.
Wait, seriously? So
I'm a
you've
scaredy cat.
you've never sat through like an entire thriller?
No.
Or oh wow.
Nearly never. I think maybe one, but this is another area or another category of movies that I wanted to talk about, which are movies that I was misled
into.
So that's another thing.
Yeah, well,
Sometimes
so what is your favorite movie then?
I really can't choose one. I would say Billy Elliot. Have you watched Billy Elliot?
No, it's a musical film, right? Is it?
Yes. Let's see. What came first? I really can't remember what came first.
Like the musical or the movie, you mean?
No, I think the movie came first.
Oh, really?
But I've watched the movie. I've also watched the musical when I visited London. Both of them are great.
Is it a coming of age genre?
It is. So you didn't know what it's about?
It's about a boy named Billy Elliot, I'd assume.
No,
And-
it's not.
Wait, it's not?
It's about a monster named Billy Elliot. Just kidding. Yes, it's about a boy named Billy Elliot. His dad and his older brother both worked in mines, and then they were going on strike and everything, all of those kinds of things. So he was not born into a very affluent family, as you can imagine. Billy's dad is like a very firm believer of a rigid idea of masculinity. You can imagine, because it was a long time ago. and he was always surrounded by guys. So Billy's dad makes Billy go to boxing lessons because that's what all of the boys in the neighborhood do. But next to the boxing center, there is also a little dance studio where all of the girls learn ballet. And Billy stumbles upon a ballet class, and the teacher, Mrs. Wilkinson, I believe, invites him to join the class. And then that's how it starts. That's how his interest in love and passion for ballet starts. And eventually, is this going to be a spoiler?
Does his father end up accepting Billy for who he is at the end?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
So it's a happy ending.
It is a happy ending. So overall, like, it's very interesting. Well, everything's interesting. So I just like it. Like, I just like the family part. I like the coming of age part. It always inspires me to see children and teenagers grow up, going through that turbulent time, but realizing what's important in life and trying to be their authentic self. It doesn't always turn out to be good or positive, but I just like the nature of growing up.
If you think about it, that plot, it's been repeated in countless movies, but it still works every time because often the director or the writer, they would really do a great job of just conveying it, I guess.
Yes.
Right? And it's one thing that everyone can relate to or will relate to at least once in their lives. It's a proven formula, but for a good reason, right?
It's a lot about the cast as well. So Jamie Bell is the actor's name who played the role of Billy Elliot, and he was so good. Like, his acting was so good. His dancing was so good.
So Billy is a gifted boy. He has a natural thing for dancing. And I don't know, that just got me wondering just now, how many movies actually deal with people who aren't good at something that they're so passionate about, you know? Because I feel I mean, we see so many movie protagonists that are gifted with something.
Let's see.
But you never get to hear the side of the story of people who aren't.
I know. I mean, like, they try and try and try and always fail and end in failure. That sort of plot.
Yeah. But no one wants to really see a movie about that, would they?
No, maybe not.
Yeah.
But sometimes, I don't know why, but I'm reminded of La La Land. Have you watched La La Land?
No.
You haven't? Okay. I'm not judging you. I'm just surprised because it's also a musical movie.
Yeah.
So I thought you might like it.
The reason, Yunans, that I might like it because it's a musical movie is because before we hit record for today's episode, we were just talking about Wicked that came out in theaters a week ago. Wicked is a rare exception. I usually don't like musical movies.
I think so. So I watched Wicked yesterday, and Yun-Sung watched Wicked last week, I think he said.
The day it was released.
Yes, and we had already planned for this episode. So after I watched Wicked, I was thinking about whether Yun-Sung was going to like it or not. But I assumed that you will like it, but it's not your usual favorite genre.
Right, because you know me too well. The reason Wicked worked for me is probably because I enjoy the original musical a lot. It was one of the first and the only Broadway musicals that I actually saw. I believe it was back in high school. And I was so blown away by the live performance and all. And I thought even before the movie came out, has to be good because if anything, it's going to amplify everything that was good about the musical.
Yes.
With the CGI and all. And I am a sucker for cinematography and great costumes. I just like looking at pretty things, and Wicked really hit that mark.
Yes.
Just looking at the set and the costumes alone, thinking, wow, how much did they spend on putting all this together? Like, that alone made the experience for me. Yeah.
I was thinking about how many people must have been involved in this movie. I mean, it always amuses me at the end, you know, they like have the ending credit and like when everyone's names are up there, I'm like, so many people have worked for this.
Exactly.
And it's actually out here.
Right.
To be presented to moviegoers. So
yeah,
that's what fascinates me as well.
And that also gets me wondering, how do they organize the whole thing?
Exactly.
With so many people. Like,
I know.
How do they keep it from becoming a complete, for the lack of a better word, shit show with so many people?
Exactly.
Yeah.
You're not just talking about tens of people, it's like hundreds of people.
Yeah.
And you have to be able to meet a specific timeline. I'm just
amazed. Yeah, so that's sort of been the exception for me. But yeah, all of the other musical movies that have been a huge hit over the past several years, I never really watched them. And this is just my personal preference, you know. It really doesn't have anything to do with how good or bad the movie is.
The reason why what we were talking about reminded me of La La Land is when you said, is there any movie where a protagonist is naturally good at something, but what was it?
Or not naturally good at something, but they are actually pretty mediocre at what they do.
Yeah, but they try to pursue their dreams because they have a huge passion for it.
Yeah.
The protagonist in La La Land, which was played by Emma Stone, I don't know, is it because there was quite a jump in the storyline? I don't know. So she wants to become an actress and she's been auditioning for years while she works at a cafe in Hollywood. I don't know like how she became an actress in that movie because I didn't feel like she was a good actress, or it could have been just for the storyline itself. Like she didn't do very well when she was auditioning. That's why she wasn't chosen for the role. And then later on, she puts up her own show, which was also a very bad show. And then she auditioned for something else after one of the directors watched her show. And then that's how she got a role for a movie. And then she became a huge
sensation.
Actress.
Okay.
Yeah. So that was a bit interesting. I don't know how to put it. Because even herself in the movie, like the protagonist, I forgot her name. Was it Mia? Can't remember. Mia.
Well, let's go with Mia.
Mia.
Okay.
Mia even said so herself, like this could be a pipe dream because she keeps failing.
When I'm watching a movie and there's a plot jump like that, I find some inconsistencies. It just disengages me completely. And I have come to notice that majority of movies are like that. There really aren't that many films out there that have such a meticulous and such dense plotline. I think it's what separates a well-made movie from a lesser well-made movie.
I think it's because maybe a lot of people are involved. So somewhere throughout the process, some decision maker or someone who has a very strong say in that process says, like, I don't want the ending to look like this because it's not going to appeal to the public.
I actually wouldn't be surprised if that is what happens behind doors. What's a total turnoff for you when it comes to movies?
That's a very good question to be a segue into another category of movies that I wanted to talk about, which are movies where I don't understand the hype. So a big turn-off for me is very personal, something that goes against my personal values. For example, do you know the movie The Intern? I think that's the title.
With the
featuring
old
Anne
guy
Hathaway.
interning at an office.
That's very true.
Yeah.
I forgot the actor's name.
Robert De Niro, yes.
Yes, so Robert De Niro is a retiree and he interns at a startup where Anne Hathaway is the CEO. This startup kind of starts a very new initiative where they hire interns regardless of age.
Right.
I didn't like it because in that movie, Anne Hathaway's husband doesn't have a job, I believe, stays at home. I don't like the expression stay at home, but because of that, for a better expression, I'll just say stay at home dad. No. Or take care of home dad.
Homemaker? Homemaker dad? Okay.
Or non-going to the office dad. Was he working
Not the
from home?
primary breadwinner.
No.
Unprimary breadwinner.
Okay. Yeah, let's go with it.
Yeah.
Anyways, Anne Hathaway is a very driven, self-motivated, hardworking CEO. She doesn't have a lot of time for her child,
Yeah.
only child and everything like that. But she tries to do her best anyways.
Yeah.
The husband goes off and has an affair with his child's friend's mom.
He does?
Yes.
Oh, I clearly didn't finish the movie because I thought I had watched the whole thing, but I actually don't remember how it ended.
Yes.
So I didn't know.
So that was a huge turnoff for me. I'm okay with him having an affair, but Anne Hathaway learns of this and she contemplates on whether to keep this family or to leave him.
Yeah.
And I think for a female who is that capable, she shouldn't have stayed with her husband or given him a second chance. But that's a very personal choice, so it doesn't really matter to me. But that was a huge turnoff. And I really didn't understand why people liked the movie. I just can't like the movie because of that.
I mean, isn't the biggest takeaway from the movie that be easy on yourself, be like Robert De Niro,
Yeah.
right? And with that, I don't think I would have minded that much, even if Anne Hathaway's character decided to stay with the cheating husband, because that's reality. A lot of times, women or men are too afraid, or they're putting their child first and think that it's better to keep the family together than to abandon their unfaithful spouse.
It's very complicated.
Very complicated. But what I do have a problem with is just pick a lane and stick to reality or stick to complete fantasy. Because what I remember from the little bit of the movie, The Intern, that actually sat through, it felt very unrealistic. Like, one, this woman had created an empire for herself in like a matter of,
just a couple of years.
A couple of years. She's already running this huge company, and it's one of those like Gen Z millennial type of offices where people are, going around riding bicycles. What kind of a workplace is that? What are you even doing there? What work are you doing? It just seems so silly to me. And then for this retiree to come in and impart all this wisdom and warmth to this young executive, just things like that don't happen in real life.
No.
Right? And then doesn't Robert De Niro also like start like this little fling with an older lady who gives him massages at the office?
Yeah, but at least he's single.
Yeah. No, I don't have a problem with that, but I'm just saying there are these elements that almost appear fairy tale-like, that are too wholesome and too whimsical and too good to be true. And then you have this slap of reality on top where Anne Hathaway's character is torn about leaving her unfaithful husband. So it's like this weird mix where on one hand you have all these fairy tale elements, and then on the other hand you're mixing in these complexities of the real world, and that just confuses me, and that just makes the entire movie seem so incoherent and just fragmented to me, and I hate that. Like, just do one thing or the other.
Yeah, it was just a weird movie.
Like, the thing about Wicked, we're talking about the land of Oz and witches and wizards, right? It's fantasy.
Yeah, I love it. I love it for that.
However, they still managed to convey all the conflict, emotions, the very personal experiences that we got to experience throughout our lives. Like, I think that's really quite beautiful. It's just a huge pet peeve when movies can't seem to decide on what they want to do.
Is there another movie that you were extremely disappointed about?
I have a good one. Frozen.
You didn't like it?
I didn't like it. I I tried watching it, but 10 minutes in, I stopped because I was getting bored.
There are a lot of people who said it was boring.
I think Tangled was much better.
Oh, Tangled is the best.
Thank you.
Yeah, I prefer Tangled over Frozen. I had a lot of expectations for Frozen. I went to the cinema to watch it. It was good, but it did start getting boring at some point.
Like, it's boring. It's slow. I don't know.
It
It's
is.
just,
Yeah.
which is something that I don't see that often in Disney movies.
No.
It almost felt like some color had been sucked out of the movie. It's very hard to describe.
True. Maybe the characters weren't as charming or appealing.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't understand the hype behind Elsa. I mean, she didn't do much in the movie, did she?
She
I mean,
basically had this serious case of
depression.
depression and angst and took it out on everyone.
Yes.
Basically,
Yes.
right? I mean, she did lock herself inside this ice fort or ice
Yes.
palace that she had built for herself. And she was just basically like, leave me alone, everybody. Yeah, which is something that I actually respect. Because
Yeah.
if you aren't comfortable being around other people, go find a corner to mope,
And freeze
mope about.
everything else.
Yeah, mope about by yourself. But then, does she end up saving her kingdom? Her kingdom was in danger.
By
right?
her.
But I thought it was the prince.
Yeah, so she froze the whole place, and then the prince stepped in, and he tried to take over the kingdom, trying to say that Elsa was accountable for all of this, and
Oh,
tried
so she had.
turn the villagers back against Elsa, but she was able to come back and like reveal the truth of the prince, I guess. Yeah, it was more work done by Anna.
Yeah. Wait, so it was Elsa who froze her entire kingdom in the first place. So if she hadn't done that, none of this would have happened.
No.
Okay.
But I do
What's
like
our
the
problem?
music.
Yeah, music.
Yeah.
Yeah, music is all right.
It's wonderful.
The person who did the voice for Elsa was the original Elphaba in the Wicked musical. So
Did you notice that they were
made cameos?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I thought that was lovely.
It was.
I thought that
lovely.
was so lovely. Such a great
Easter egg, should I
Easter
say?
egg homage
Mhm.
to the original Broadway show. Yeah, I can't stop talking about the Wicked movie because it was a good cinematic experience.
Okay, then let's move on to Ixie's expectations.
Exceeds expectations.
I think Wicked is one good example for you.
Do you have one?
Yes, I have a few.
Oh, do tell.
Oppenheimer, Interstellar.
Uh-huh. I'm starting to see a pattern.
I
Okay.
know. It's not is it about the director? I don't know.
Uh-huh.
I usually don't like Christopher Nolan movies, but
Uh-huh.
I can see why he is commended as one of the best directors of all time. Because the fact that the movie exceeded my expectations, because I don't have high expectations for genres that I don't like, just shows like how good of a storyteller or a director he is.
Uh-huh. So it isn't about the director per se, but just about the genre that he deals with usually.
Yes.
So you went in without expecting much.
Yes. And Everything Everywhere All at Once.
Mm.
Yeah. That was a lot of stimuli, but
Ah.
I love the storyline of it and the message that it wanted to convey, because it's mostly about generational trauma, is it? Or breaking the generational trauma between mother and daughter. We talked about this in a different episode, but yep, I like that. I also have a list of underappreciated movies.
Oh, tell me.
And I think you might enjoy some of them.
Yes, please.
All of them are animations. First one is Wreck-It Ralph. It's good. It's more intricate than you might expect.
Okay.
And the visual aspect of it is also good.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So that and Guardians, not Guardians of the Galaxy, but maybe it's The Guardians, is about Santa Claus, Jack Frost.
Yeah. yes.
Have you watched it?
The hot Jack Frost that everyone was.
Are you
Yeah.
objectifying Jack Frost?
I mean, that's what everyone seemed to be doing at the time,
Yeah.
but I don't think the movie actually made that big of a splash, right? It was really just
No.
the Jack Frost
Yeah.
that everyone was thirsting over for some reason,
Yes.
which I find very strange, but
It is because
Yeah.
he's like a boy. I think it doesn't appeal to fans or non-fans in Korea because the whole concept is very Western.
exactly.
Like the Tooth Fairy, Jack Frost, Sandman, Boogeyman,
Yeah.
even Santa Claus. Those aren't things or figures that we grow up hearing about.
Yeah.
So that's one thing why it didn't appeal to the Korean audience. But the visual aspect of it is really good and it's very dynamic. So it really feels like you're in the movie. I watched it in the cinema.
Okay.
Yeah, so I like that part about it. I like the storyline as well. Another one is Cloudy with a Chance of Meatballs.
Most of these are like 3D animations, right?
Yes. So those are my top 3 underappreciated movies, which I would watch on a regular basis.
Oh, wow. I think most of the movies that I did enjoy and still talk about to this day have generally been appreciated. I tend to gravitate toward movies that might not have been such a huge mainstream hit, but still have a very consistent like niche following. Not even niche because no, they were quite popular. One movie that I always go back to time and again is Charlie and the Chocolate Factory. Not the original version.
Not the
Because
original
I think
version?
that completely butchered the original novel by Roald Dahl. I'm talking about the Tim Burton version.
Not the one with Johnny Depp?
The one with Johnny Depp is the
Oh,
one that I like. I hated the old one with Gene Wilder.
Oh, I haven't watched that one. I
Yeah.
don't want to watch that one. The one with Johnny Depp is really good.
It's amazing.
Considering when was it released? It was released a long time ago.
Quite a while
Yeah.
ago, actually.
And yeah, I was surprised to see how they were able to depict a lot of things that were in the original novel.
Yeah. And I think I should give more credit to the OG movie adaptation of it because that is a super old movie.
It
We're not
is.
talking about like 10, 20 years ago. We're talking like
30 years ago.
30 or no, not even 30. It could be older.
Yeah.
But
maybe.
a very, very old movie. So they probably had limited means to bring all of the fantastical aspects of the novels to life.
Exactly.
I mean, I see that now, but when I first came across the movie, I was like only 11 or 12. And I think I was kind of severely disappointed because the movie had failed to
Live up to
live up to my expectations that I had built up for myself when I was reading the book because I love the book. But Tim Burton did just that.
Crazy Man
Crazy
did a
Man.
good job with a crazy actor
I don't know.
of a movie adaptation of a crazy novel.
Oh yeah.
It's very good.
It just I don't just thinking about it puts a smile on my face because there's so many scenes that I find to be absolutely hilarious. Like one favorite scene that I don't think that's talked about enough is when they are interviewing all the winners of the golden ticket one by one, and Augustus Gloop comes on and he's eating chocolate and his parents are in the background. And one of the reporter in like this most bogus thick German accent goes, "What did you do to celebrate?" Augustus Gloop is just there like, "Eat more chocolate," and shoves more chocolate into his mouth. And that scene lives in my head rent free.
Yeah.
And also the scene with the I don't know if you can even call those animatronics, but those dolls.
Oh,
They are like-
where they like blow up.
Yeah, where they blow up. I thought that was the funniest thing when I first saw it.
You know the squirrels in it?
Oh, I love the squirrels.
They're real. They trained the squirrels for months because I think, was it Tim Burton or was it Johnny Depp? Someone insisted that they should be real.
It's amazing.
It is.
It's amazing what they did with the
Yeah.
movie.
I love it. I mean, Tim Burton movies, it always has like a creepy, eerie feel. So when I watched it for the first time, because I was much younger, I was kind of weirded out by it, but it was so good.
And another movie that I really enjoy time and again, the SpongeBob movie.
Oh my gosh, I haven't watched any SpongeBob.
Are you not a SpongeBob fan?
I think it's a very American thing.
Maybe. Yeah,
Yes.
maybe you're right.
What is the SpongeBob? Is he a piece of sponge
Yes, he's a sponge.
who lives under sea?
Yes, he lives in a pineapple under the sea.
What's his purpose in life?
His purpose in life, I mean, that's a great question, but his purpose in life is to make Krabby Patties, and
What's his job?
he flips burgers at
Oh, okay.
the Krabby Patty place.
Okay, got it.
Yes. You're questioning. You're questioning the purpose of life of a sponge, of a sea sponge. Don't you think that's too harsh on the little fella? But yeah, it's a good movie.
So I ask this a lot to my friends, and I asked this question to one of my friends yesterday as well, because we have a very different view on movies themselves and on different movies as well. So the reason that I watch movies, and the reason that I need enough time and energy to watch a movie, is because I try to find a message in it and try to apply it to my own personal life. I mean, trying to find the similarities and what I can take away from that movie. And it's just like a opportunity for me to think about a lot of different aspects of life. So that's why it's so tiring to watch a movie. But my friend said, why do I even think about those things? Because for him, watching a movie or reading a novel is to actually escape the reality of life. So that was very interesting. So I just wanted to understand, what is watching a movie for you?
I'm actually glad you brought that up, because I think I'm more like your friend. And that's something I've also noticed since we started talking about movies this morning. I think I treat movies as a way to escape from reality too. Or not really necessarily to escape from anything, but I just want to have a otherworldly experience. I want it to be an experience that I can't normally find in my everyday life or in reality. That's, I think, is the biggest merit that a movie can give to me. Yeah, it's a way to immerse myself in this alternate reality, I guess.
Yep.
And the thing is, even if I do say this, I will still see parts of my life or parts of myself, even in the most absurd,
Exactly.
fantasy-like movies.
Yeah.
I think those are some of the best movies out there.
Yeah.
That even though they might take place in outer space or in some fantasy
In
land,
Emerald City.
in Emerald City, as for that matter, or
I mean,
at the chocolate factory,
yeah. Yeah.
you can still find bits of yourself.
Yes.
And something that resonates with you on a very deep, personal level.
Yes. I mean, Elphaba is someone who is very relatable. Even though, I don't know, is it a bad thing that she's very relatable? I don't know. Like, everyone would have, at one time or another, felt lonely in that kind of way, or left out.
Still don't understand why she burst out dancing at the party, though. But I try to just take it as a symbolism. Sort
Yes,
of. It was a
exactly.
symbol of her. Perhaps that entire dance or routine she did was... It was just a metaphor for her life.
Yes.
Yeah. And nobody ever cheering for her,
Yeah,
joining her.
exactly.
And she's just doing her own thing.
And not really caring about what others think. But
Yeah.
a lot of people, like, deep down, everyone cares about what other people think. It's
Everybody.
just a matter of
How
like,
good you are at hiding it,
yes,
really.
how comfortable you feel with still being aware of how other people think about you. So
Exactly.
it was such a good movie. Now we're just talking about Wicked. Maybe we just wanted to do this episode because we wanted to talk about Wicked.
Maybe. And we could talk about this all day if we wanted to. But today we have other places to be and we can't stay in the studio forever. So I think it's about time that we say goodbye to our listeners.
we also want to hear more about what your favorite movies were, what movies you thought exceeded expectations, which ones you thought are underappreciated, everything like that.
And once again, we are still here. We're always going to be here as long as we don't grow tired of doing this, which I highly doubt we will. Yeah, we haven't broken up. Is today December?
It is. It's
Oh
the
my
first day of
God.
December today.
First day of December. So in 1 month, it's going to be 2025.
Yes.
Can you believe that?
And hopefully we can upload this episode before Christmas.
Hopefully.
So we wish everyone is it jolly holly Christmas? Or,
Holly jolly Christmas.
and
I think most people just opt for Merry Christmas, but I think Holly Jolly will do. Holly Jolly Christmas.
and happy holidays for those who don't really celebrate Christmas. Hope you have a good end to this year.
And Happy New Year in advance.
So with that, we'd like to thank you again for listening to another episode of our audio memory.
Goodbye.
Bye.